quick! Sure! What are you waiting for? Come on! I killed your girlfriend, poisoned Gotham and hell! It's not even breakfast! But so what? We all know you'll save me.
Every decision you've ever made ends with death and misery. People die. I stop you. You'll just break out and do it again.
Think of it as a running gag. Ah! No! Are you happy now?
Do you want to know something funny? Even after everything you've done, I would have saved you.
You know, that actually is pretty funny.
The prophecy has been fulfilled. I have stopped the Joker. His identity is unknown. But I'm pretty sure I might know who he is.
All units coordinated. What the?
I think I might know who died in my arms.
What the hell happened in there?
May you rest in peace.
What happened?
His identity is none other than... Hi there, viewers and gamers alike out there. Welcome back for more of Arkham Twin Days. It's time to punch crime in the face. More of Batman. So, hi there everyone. This is Leo Wolverine, founding member of Leo's Let's Plays Alliance. So anyways, I thought why not talk, since I talked about Arkham Asylum, it's time that we're going to talk about Arkham City. That's right. The next game of the Arkham games is Batman Arkham City. So for anyways, where should we begin? Where do we begin? Oh yes. Since Batman wasn't there yet, if we begin starting off when he start, how do I say, enter the campaigning to, how do I say, wall Arkham City, or how do I say this, close down Arkham City, or shut this place down if you want to know. And so for anyways, of course when Bruce Wayne got into politics, he knows he's going to get himself in trouble, even though that's the only way to how and stop someone to commit this kind of project in Arkham City. It seems that there's more to it than meets both eyes. So, the only way to get inside of Arkham City is he had to be caught anyways. Of course, They were caught by the Tiger. He was caught by Tiger Guards, and these Tiger Guards are actually owned by Dr. Hugo Strange. Of course, you know, I think that was the part of his plan, that he wanted to get caught in the first place so he can infiltrate inside Wonder Tower or someplace. And so for that, he did get caught by Dr. Hugo Strange. Of course, Hugo Strange knows who Batman's secret identity is. Of course, he knows Bruce Wayne is Batman. Of course, he's gonna have to find out what does he know about. The only way he can do that is to solve the mystery of going on inside of Arkham City. Since it happened, because Arkham City happened like 6 months later. So, since it began in August, 6 months later, it's now in the month of January, in the cold winter. The only way to try to get yourself warm in the cold winter is to stay warm. Usually, these thugs and criminals that are, got themselves, were into Arkham Asylum or Blackgate Prison, they're thrown into Arkham City as an experimental project by Dr. Hugo Strange. Of course, he allows everyone to go into safe passage and you know, releasing the food drops in crates up in the sky by plane. The only way to figure this one out is to how to get in. Of course, Bruce Wayne is able to grab a talkwave radio out of the Tiger Guard, so he is able to listen to each and every communication that Hugo Strange is saying to them. And he does know about something that's called Protocol 10. He doesn't know what Protocol 10 is, so the only way to figure out what Protocol 10 is what in the world is it? So, as the world's greatest detective, he decided to investigate it immediately. Protocol 10. Of course, more issues and matter involved. So, Catwoman is there, of course. Of course, if you remember how Selina Kyle tried to break in through a safe house, which is actually Harvey Dent's house, if you want to know, or should I say Two-Face, was trying to take something from what is rightfully in her own hands. By the way, how does Two-Face appear out of nowhere with a gun in his hand? So, how in the world did this happen? Of course, there's a lot of clues and mysteries. When you find in mystery tapes is where something is becoming amiss. And when Batman tries to piece the clues together, he knows that there's more to something going on in Arkham City. So he rescues Catwoman, and Catwoman gives a... Well, Catwoman really, knows what's kind of going on with Protocol 10, of course. And usually she gives Batman the info she needs. Of course, would have gone to known associate or acquaintance. Really? You could have not really split or quit? Oh boy. So, the only reason that, the Joker was up on that tippity-toppity tower and usually likes to take shots at people. And no, not with a camera. If he wants to take shots with a camera, he would have been a photographer. Instead, he likes to take a sniping position. How do I say? Programmedly with a, something to do. Of course, he controlled a mechanized programmed gun. Of course, you can hear him talking, and he was kind of coughing all of a sudden. So usually, about what we know about the Joker is why was he coughing a little? Of course, he doesn't hear the Joker's talk wave radio, of course. Unless, of course, he did try to hack into any enemy's or foe's communications radio. He would know everything in a heartbeat.
See what that thing does to cars? Oh God, what's he doing? What's he doing?
So he noticed that the shot came from somewhere from the tower. He investigated the shot from where it was fired upon through a stained glass window, and he said the bullet hit here. So the bullet hit there. It came straight to the tower in a church. So yeah, he heads towards the church. He wants to shut Arkham City down as the Cape Crusader known as Batman. So he's trying to shut it down. Get out of there, thug. So, oh yeah, the church. Harley Quinn is there if you want to know, but the only thing she doesn't realize the only thing she realized is that Batman's coming. So, she dances all the way and gives a run to give a quick smack, but then, the thugs are actually there if you want to know. So, yeah, it's just really unbelievable. You can't believe what is going on. At least the thugs are actually obeying Harley Quinn's orders and not try to shoot the civilians inside a church. Yes, she attacked the civilians inside a church. Have you no right to commit a sin? Of course she does. Oh boy. So, the Batman had to rescue the civilians inside the church, takes down each and every thug quietly. So, took down all the thugs that Harley Quinn left behind. Of course, Batman is a man of theatricality and deception against every criminal and thug he sees. Especially those gunmen who are kind of scared out of their minds when he uses a smoke pellet.
He knows. I don't care how much money he blows on body armor and tanks. Batman's gone. Bruce Wayne's just a man in a cape as far as I'm concerned.
So the only way he's going to have to, well, since Harley Quinn left some breadcrumbs, of course, she's not as smart as what's going on next. Aaron Cash is a part of the new rescue team squad, of course. He had to get a new job after that failed attempt to capture the Joker. It wasn't his fault, of course, it was the warden's fault. Mayor Quincy Sharp, in the first place, who doesn't want to blame himself, but kind of blames the others. Oh boy, doesn't he understand can't he take the blame on himself? But no, he kinda doesn't know what to do. So, oh no you don't. Get over there. Let's see. So the only way he's going to have to go is through Joker's Funhouse, which is the steel mill, otherwise known as Sionis Steel Mill. Roman Sionis used to own the steel mill. Of course, he's been captured, just like Hugo Strange and the Penguin, and also Two-Face as well. Of course, Two-Face had Catwoman tied on a rope. So, you know, Batman had to rescue her in order for not letting Catwoman fall into a tank of acid. And it's just... Oh no, where are you going, car? So, what do you know? Thanks to Catwoman's info and what is going on with Hugo Strange. Of course, Hugo Strange loves to blackmail people, especially for those who kind of like to remain hidden, including Mr. Victor Freeze. So yeah, Victor Freeze. He always had a heart of ice, but enough about that. So anyways, more of Arkham City. If you want to know, I am wearing the the post Arkham City skin because of Arkham City. So yeah. Anyway, he goes into the Joker's steel mill. There is no way in and no way out. The big front doors are locked and closed for anyone in front of the public. Only Joker's thugs are allowed to go in. Penguin thugs, Two-Face thugs are not allowed in the steel mill anyway, anyhow. So yeah. And the only way to try to get inside the mill is through the chimney, which is the boiling hot place. So you have to go inside the chimney, and guess what? He has to dive bomb into the chimney, lands a wire. How do I say this? Lands on top of a, how do I say, not a telephone wire or some type of rope wire of some sort. I don't know what kind of wire he landed on, but he did land it safely on top of it. So he's able to get inside the steel mill. Tries to find a nurse or a doctor by the name of Stacy Baker. Of course, she's being, how do I say, tortured by Joker's men, including Harley Quinn herself. So that's why usually Joker thugs are trying to find a doctor or a nurse to cure the Joker, but usually Stacy Baker doesn't know how to fix the Joker because something is wrong with him. Why? Because he has been infected by that Titan formula, and he blames it on it for it so many times, repeating itself. Of course, he did inject it himself 6 months back then. Of course, he now is perfectly fine, but then all of a sudden he started to have this little boil. And then he thought it was just a boil, but then another problem. It started to become some kind of spot. He's starting to feel a little dizzy, and then he started to feel like he's having the flu all of a sudden. And yes, he's getting sick. Of course, he tried to figure out what's wrong with his blood and what's wrong with his system inside his blood. It was that Titan formula that was killing him. Didn't he know that the Titan formula does make him strong, but all of a sudden it does not work for him so well? Yeah, it wasn't gonna go ending so well for the Joker. So, Batman has to rescue Stacy Baker inside the steel mill. He has to take down every thug no matter what it takes until he gets to Stacy Baker. However, he's able to rescue Stacy Baker. Inside the steel mill, he's able to pick up another gadget, which is the remote electrical charge. As you notice, you know, about the remote electrical charge, as I can fire.
Oh, this is like Arkham City.
Alright.
Got the whole damn place to ourselves.
See? Remote electrical charge. Same charge, same place, same time. Hello there. And, you know, oh boy, usually thugs are always like to do the most craziest things. So he's able to rescue Stacy Baker inside the steel mill. Of course, Stacy Baker keeps telling Batman that he blames on Titan. And Batman says, Titan? So yeah, Titan. The Titan formula that keeps on giving. The one he used is actually killing him. You know, when he used it back 6 months ago? Yeah, now it's actually killing him. Oh my. Hello. So, the only way to find Joker is to find the Joker who is the big horse in the mouth himself. So, usually he is going to have to face as many thugs as he possibly could, including that one-armed Mr. Hammer, who carries a hammer, and because he does have a brother who carries a sickle, which is pretty funny if you ask me. Hello there, may I bump into the car? And of course, Batman is able to stop them, and of course, he is going to get himself caught, of course, by by Joker and Harley Quinn. Of course, when Batman was scanning the Joker's body, he recognized it is the Joker, but he's actually dead. Of course, then all of a sudden, he got April Fools by ow. So the end of Batman is where he gets put to sleep. Well, he's not dead, more like he was knocked out. And then goes into Catwoman's storyline. Of course, she wants to try to break into the vault in, where Hugo Strange's secret stuff and money is worth. Hello. And, going into Secret Stash. Oh, so he decided to go with a little bit of a help of a friend called Ivy, also known as Pamela Isley.
But I don't get it.
So, yeah.
Is that car tank tax deductible or something?
Pamela Isley, a beautiful red-haired girl, and to like to have any fallen man to fall in love using the loving spores. Ta-da! And, of course, Ivy is not in a good mood to have visitors, especially for Catwoman, from what, the only thing that Ivy was so upset is that Catwoman kind of ruined her flowers. So you don't want to mess with Ivy, who ruined the kind of flowers that she carries, even though she has her own entire garden. One little ruined flower and Ivy will have you for breakfast, lunch, and dinner on a vegetarian scale.
First Joker time.
Even though you're...
Batman's unmasked.
Yeah, she does not like humans who try to threaten the Earth's natural environment. Pretty insane that she is. Although she is in Arkham City, at least she doesn't meet Batman in that game. Of course, she meets Ivy. You know, I wish they put something else like that. But that was a good way to end the story with Catwoman. Of course, Batman wakes up, and then all of a sudden he's tied in a chair. Doesn't realize what is going on, of course. He will find out sooner or later. So, he had to find one way. Well, even though he's not going to find anyhow, he's trapped and tied into a chair. What he doesn't know that he's getting his, how do I say? He's getting blood donations by the Joker. He says there is a teeny little bit of me in you too, Bats. Of course, if you want to know, yeah, he is definitely not feeling anything. Ta-da! So, the only way for him, well, you know, now that Batman is infected by Joker's blood, he says, really? I'm infected by Joker's blood. Things are never gonna get easy with the Dark Knight yet. However, things will get harder as this night is gonna go even longer. Oh! So, the Joker tells him, Mr. Freeze has gotten cold on me. Because why? Because he wants to have some kind of specialized secret formula to counteract the, you know, this kind of weakened state that Joker's in. Because, well, if you want to know, it's the Titan formula that he was infected back then 6 months ago that made him super strong, and now it's making him super sick. Yeah, he's one sick clown for the sick mind, if you ask me. Alright then, so, since Batman told Alfred that saying, well, because since he's been poisoned, and he doesn't know how much time that he's got left. So, yeah, Batman was thinking, so that is Protocol 10. Poisoning Gotham with your own blood of donation. I'm pretty sure Dracula would have been proud. No, he wouldn't. After all, he would get sick anyways. But, back to the storyline. So, if for more of the storyline, yeah. Arkham City. Yes. More things are coming around in circle throughout Arkham City. You have to rescue Jack Ryder. Of course, Jack Ryder says, he says, are you a fan of my radio station or some sort? And Batman says, no. I just want to know what you're doing here. And Jack Ryder says, first I discovered something new. This doctor came in, like, you know, Hugo Strange not too long ago, and all of a sudden, from what we see and what's coming forward, he tried to cure this guy who doesn't even remember his own name. Something's going on. A guy who doesn't remember his own name? Really? So, a man who doesn't remember his own name, so he's gonna have to figure this out later on. He still wants to figure out what Protocol 10 is. Yeah, of course, Joker says Protocol 10, never heard of it. So, whoever heard of Protocol 10 that they say that never heard of it? This guy does. I mean, really, of course, you ever heard of Protocol 10 is right in front of you. Of course, things will get more crazier. So, the Joker says he has to go, he needs to get Mr. Freeze, and that's where you come in. Of course, the Joker had to strap Batman on a chair with a cell phone or some kind of walkie-talkie. Of course, now that he's able to communicate things with the Joker, and I'll mention with a lot of thugs, the Joker is able to send out to his best buddy with emails and having fun with romantic dinners. I guess this is why he invented internet, which they have, and sending through email. Haven't you noticed that why you can't put enough phone calls? He does leave messages, but then he just like to say ring ring. So he went to Mr. Freeze, but then there was penguin thugs all over inside of the old GCPD building, and that's where Batman had to try to find the coldest location point around in Arkham City. And that is where Mr. Freeze is at. The penguin thugs got there first. Of course, what does Penguin want to do with Mr. Freeze? Of course, he does hack in. Of course, Batman is able to grab one of the talkwave radios out of one of the Penguin thugs and able to listen into communication of the Penguin himself along with the Penguin thugs. Of course, Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin, had to blow up the bridges, including parts of the freeway, to make it inaccessible for car and truck, especially the Batmobile. Of course, the Batmobile was not in the game. Would have been awesome to drive the Batmobile around the streets, of course. So, for anyways, more of the storyline. Batman able to beat the Penguin's thugs. Of course, he wants to know where the Penguin is at, but Penguin doesn't like tattletales, and Batman doesn't like crime bosses so much. He wants them off the streets and putting them back straight into prison. Seems the Penguin will never learn his mistakes. He's gonna keep on doing this again and again until he gets them right. Because he never learns that crime doesn't pay. Well, he's gonna have to learn the hard way. Why does the Penguin always like to play the hard way? I guess he likes to play hardball and have birdseed and having to eat chicken soup.
I thought Bruce Wayne had nothing better to do than waste his parents' inheritance. Guy's really gone down in my estimation.
So, another thing that's gonna come up is that the Penguin, wants to have something that he has in mind. Well, the Penguin lives in the museum, the Cyrus Pinckney Museum. Of course, he owns the casino or some sort. Of course, he doesn't want Batman inside, so he used those military interference generators or some military-grade interface generators. It stops his cryptographic sequencer from working, but it's kind of like static and buffering, so he had to disable them. in order to find them. One outside next to the museum, one near the museum on top of a building, and the other one in an underground subway. He is able to find all three of them, disabling them, and getting inside the museum. Since he's listening to all of the thug's speech, including the Penguin himself, to tell him, go and hide now. Hide it right now, quickly, because the Batman is coming. And you know the Batman is coming to get them. Okay, so since he disabled all three, got into the museum, and he finds an officer of the GCPD. So it's Commissioner Jim Gordon's crew squad. So they were kind of trying to they were actually working undercover of Penguin. For what is the Penguin doing here? So the only way to do that, because of course, the Penguin found out that there's some undercover cops of GCPD working for him to try to take him down. First, Catwoman was being found out by that Two-Face has a gun in his hand and pointing in her head, point blank range, and then usually all of a sudden he knows it's going to happen. Then the Penguin knows that there were some undercover cops of GCPD working for him. And he is so upset. You know how angry he gets. He pulls out the umbrella and fires because he starts complaining. So Batman had to rescue most of the officers. The only way that, he did try to rescue all the officers. But instead, not all the officers did survive. Well, I would say only several of the officers of the GCPD survived. The others did not. More like diseased or being shot and killed by the Penguin or one of Penguin's thugs. So the Penguin wants to collect Batman as the ultimate trophy. He wants to put it in his collection, and he is a collector of all things. He wanted to collect Batman as the ultimate prize. He wants to win this battle. Of course, he is not going to collect Batman as the ultimate trophy with a lot of stuffing. The only collection he's going to collect is his defeat himself. Defeat. Sorry. Wrong with the feet, wrong with the mixture of words. Anyways, yeah. Let's moving on. So, he is able to beat each and every thug in this museum dome arena, of course. And Oracle chimes in after when Batman's done beating up the bad guys of Penguin's thugs, and he has to, Batman told Alfred to bring Barbara up to speed, and he will do that, and he'll be in touch. The ice, of course, Penguin shot an ice ray gun in front of Batman. Of course, Batman is surprised that since he has Mr. Freeze locked up somewhere, he also has his ice gun. His ice gun, so he kind of froze the entire parts of the Museum of Water and put it like in a walking, somewhat thin, icy glacier. Of course, it is somewhat thin ice. He has to rescue one of the officers of GCPD. So, yeah. You got to be careful not to fall into the ice, or else you're going to meet Tiny. Who could imagine a big fish could be a garbage chute that can eat anything it sees? He tosses into something, whether it's a human or an object or something, and poof, problem gone.
We need Joker back.
It's just... Oh my. Yeah. Tiny the Shark. Maybe they call him Timmy the Shark. Sorry. Tiny the Shark is really big, although he's not that tiny. He's way too big for someone else's shark bite.
First an army turns up, then giant plants burst out of the ground. I forgot there would be easy pickings tonight.
So, rescue any officers that are completely trapped in the ice, and also officers in a predator area on the Cyrus Pinckney Museum, and he also had to rescue Mr. Freeze. Of course, Mr. Freeze wanted to get even against the clown, but he wants to start with the Penguin, since the Penguin got most of his weapons and his armor. Of course, Batman says, "Where is the cure?" But Mr. Freeze kind of doesn't understand what Batman meant. He wants to take down the Penguin himself and the Clown Prince of Crime. But Batman said, "No, you let me handle this. I'll take care of the Penguin." So yeah, he's gonna take care of the Penguin. But Mr. Freeze says, "And why would you expect me? Why would you want me? Why do you expect me to help you? And why do you want me to do that? Because if you don't help me, I can't get your suit back." Think about it, Victor. If you don't look well, if you're gone, who is going to take care of Nora? And you know, when he said Nora, Victor Freeze says, "Leave my wife out of this, Batman. We are not friends." Batman doesn't like a pushover because Mr. Freeze can be very stubborn at times, and he is not the nicest guy to meet, even though he does have a heart of ice. See what I did there? Heart of ice, you know? Heart of ice. Okay, whatever. So, yes. A heart of ice. So Victor Freeze has no choice but to agree on Batman's terms by getting the suit back and his freeze gun. So he's able to try to get back to freeze gun. Of course, he took one simple little gadget out of Mr. Freeze's suit, or the cold suit, that keep his core temperature sub-zero, surviving a mechanical suit, or more like a super cooled survival suit, to keep his core temperature sub-zero as always, and you get the idea. So since he's able to acquire the gadget called the freeze stopper, the freeze disruptor of some sort, he is able to jam the freeze gun that he took with that little gadget on the suit, jams the weapon that the Penguin carries, and he he says, "I'll give this one to you for free." He fires the gun and the weapon is jammed because he's holding this gadget right behind his back with his hand. And he does like this famous uppercut punch in front of the Penguin, who's known as Oswald Cobblepot. And then the Penguin says, "Please don't hurt me." And Batman says, "I can't guarantee that." And the Penguin says to him, "Neither can I." And guess who just showed up? It's none other than Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday, married on Wednesday, born on a Monday, christened on Tuesday, married on Wednesday, or some sort. Or is it christened on Thursday? Yeah. Doesn't remember his own name, but all he knows is the name is Solomon Grundy. Of course, the only way that he can kill, Batman, of course he doesn't kill, if you want to know. The only thing he can do is to kill Solomon Grundy. So, killing a zombie is alright, even though he's not alive anymore and he is a zombie with almost no feelings. So Penguin uses this gadget button that charges up electricity again and again and again, and then furiously, of course you see during the game that Solomon Grundy's ribs are exposed of some sort, especially his heart. Yeah, especially when you try to finish him off, and yeah, that's one way to rip your heart out. Sorry, that was dark. Yeah, ripping the heart out is just, or more like eat your heart out. I'm sorry, that was just wrong. But anyways, he's able to defeat Solomon Grundy, but he needs to defeat the Penguin next. And he is able to try to dodge these missile launchers in front of Penguin's umbrella, and is able to get to the Penguin, does a super multi-punch beatdown, and is able to take him down lickety-split. So now that Mr. Freeze has got his suit back and his freeze gun, of course, he did a little bit of even against Mr. Oswald Cobblepot. So, he kind of had a crushing feeling on his hand, even though he does like to have it, even though getting his hand crushed is not the best feeling, even though you like to get hand planted by someone's foot. Of course, there is a ninja assassin right there. And, the ninja assassin somehow escaped because Batman says Ra's al Ghul's name. So the Batman does recognize this ninja assassin. It's one of Talia's elite guard. The only way to find that ninja assassin is to track down the blood trail that this assassin left behind. This assassin might lead to where Ra's al Ghul is at, but Batman still need to find out what Protocol 10 is. So, even though Protocol 10 is definitely on his top list, he has to find a way to cure himself of this disease that Joker poisoned him with Joker's blood. Oh boy. So, he follows the blood trail, and the trail ends somewhere in a rooftop around somewhere in Arkham City. He's going to scan it, but but somehow oh, hello there. So when he was about to scan, oh my, when he scanned, oh boy, the ninja assassin appeared out of nowhere and does like this attack from behind. Oh boy. An attack from behind, so he has to follow the ninja assassin, one of Talia's elite guard, into the rooftops. able to try to get to him, and then all of a try to get to her, if you want to know. So yeah, follows the ninja assassin, and Batman puts a tracer on that ninja assassin of one of Talia's elite guard. And guess who showed up? It's none other than the boy wonder Robin, not Richard Grayson. It's Timothy Drake. Robin, the boy wonder, who carries the staff. Of course, Batman cares about Tim, and he doesn't want to get him hurt so much. Of course, Robin knows how to take care of himself. I mean, of course, Robin is adopted by Batman, you know, Timothy Drake. Since Rocksteady made him older, of course, and having a thing for, you know, Tim and Barb. Okay! Alright, Rocksteady, I don't know where you're going for this, so I think this is kind of cutesy way. But the others say, no, we don't want Tim and Barb, we want Richard and Barb! This is so wrong! But, like, why? Because it doesn't make sense! Oh, really? But it looks like a cute couple. I mean, no! Not this! Boo! I mean, I don't know what's going on with that, but usually, it was kind of weird. I mean, yeah, weird. Do you see weirdness that's going on? Yes. Why? Because Timothy Drake and Barbara Gordon are having a vast relationship together. It's like, no, I don't know if this is going to work out. And thanks to Rocksteady, it actually did work. Oh my. It is just absolutely not amazing. But I do kind of like it. I mean, others may disagree with me, of course, but it's kind of cute. I don't know. Oh boy. So, Batman gave, Batman gives a blood sample that's, you know, Bruce Wayne's blood, because he says anyone caught dead within 24 hours will die. And we need to come up with an antidote fast and save the civilians who have been infected in those hospitals who, you know, where Joker kind of donate all of his blood to the rest of Gotham's hospitals, including Gotham General, perhaps? Oh my. As many as that much people, many people will die if this is not fixed. Whee! Oh boy, things are never gonna get easy for the Dark Knight, especially when those who are called in sick, why don't they ever call a doctor in the house? Why? Because usually there has to be one. Oh, that's right, Professor Hugo Strange is the one who's in charge of Arkham City. Why couldn't anybody get some help? Okay. Oh yeah, back to the storyline. Oh yes. So Robin has given Batman the line launcher. And yes, since the tracer has now been active, he tries to get a great location of where one of Talia's elite guard assassins is going to be located at. So he had to go under the sewers. So yeah, under the sewers if you want to know. So, why not go into the sewers? Having fun eating pizza with a rat and some adopted turtle sons to enjoy there, Batman? I wonder if you can come anyways. I'm sorry, that That was kinda rude. But I kinda find it funny. So yeah. Let's see. We lock the clamps in. Okay. So into the sewers he goes. You know there's Joker's men in there. So, and what are Joker's men doing down under the sewers and now into the subway? And then he goes into the door, able to take down the thugs in a Predator area. But I do believe this is going to be a good stopping point from here on out, and I'll tell more of the story of Batman Arkham City, of course. Like, it's a really long story if you want to know, so more of the Arkham City storyline. And if you guys are wondering, I was trying to, when I went kind of quiet and silent for like just a few moments, I was trying to concentrate on beating the thugs, okay? So forgive me for what I'm saying, even though I had a bit of a momentary relapse judgment. So for anyways, this is a good stopping point. And thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And tell me, what do you guys think of Arkham Twin Days? I know you may say I might find it's a bit boring from what you're creating, but somehow it can be a little bit interesting. But who knows? I'm just trying to do my own thing. This is my own Arkham Twin Days, I want to call it, so on and so forth. So once again, Tuesdays and Thursdays only. This is Leo Wolverine saying and speaking as always as your sensational, amazing Spider-Man who takes chances, makes mistakes, and get messy in Leo's Let's Plays Alliance and punching crime in the face. Godspeed, play safe, and shalom. Remember, the Dark Knight is always watching you, and so am I. See you next time for more of Arkham Twin Days! Woo!